Module 5, Writing the PPA Paragraph. As described in Module 2, the PPA paragraph follows a strict formula: experience, subtopics, documentation. That's because evaluators appreciate getting this information all at once, right at the beginning. If you have a desperate need to write a more creative opening paragraph, that's fine, so long as this one comes first. The first item is the statement of experience. It should be just a couple of sentences, a brief description of the experience that qualifies you to write this essay. It's good to include some specifics, but focus on the most important experiences. Don't provide justifications or explanations. Please turn to the CD Workbook, Module 5, Slide 4. As you do the activity, it might help if you review the material on the PPA paragraph in the student guide. The second item in the paragraph is the list of subtopics. Sometimes we call it the laundry list because it should be a series of short phrases. We suggest 4 to 8 subtopics, and remember that each subtopic must also become a subheading in the essay. If you have too many, there isn't enough space for sufficient analysis and the essay will be superficial. If you have too few, you will find it difficult to sustain your focus and the essay tends to become scattered. In describing the subtopic, use language that you could imagine seeing in a textbook or serious magazine article on the topic. For example, here are some effective and ineffective subheadings for 4 different essays. In an essay on marriage and family, you might want to explore different kinds of stress that affect relationships. Would a good subheading be Ben and Jen Do It Again? In an essay on alcoholism, it might be appropriate to examine what happens when people have a DUI. Why not say, How I Avoided Jail? In a parenting essay, you might want to look at various approaches to disciplining children. What's wrong with saying, Never spank? And finally, in an essay on computers and society, you might address issues related to the type of information stored in government computers. Why not be clever and say, Big Brother is watching you? Please turn to the CD Workbook, Module 5, Slide 7, to match the ineffective subheadings with the reason that they should not be used. The third part of the opening paragraph is the documentation line. You begin this sentence with the words, For documentation I will include, and then list 1 or at the most 2 items that will show you had some of the experiences mentioned in the experience section. There are many experiences for which official documentation is unavailable or unnecessary. For example, you don't need to go through the trouble of getting a birth or marriage certificate for an essay on marriage and family. A snapshot of your family is sufficient. For business essays, you probably want work-related documents. These might include annual appraisals, a letter of promotion, verification of employment, and so on. However, if official documentation is unavailable, it's okay to submit personal letters from people who can attest to the circumstances, like workmates, close friends, or family members. If you do submit letters, remember they don't have to say how great you are. They need only to affirm that you had the experience you claim to have had. Please turn to the CD Workbook, Module 5, Slide 9. Remember that the laundry list of subtopics will become the subheadings in your essay. They should appear in the same order in both places. Cut and paste as necessary. Now you're ready to revisit the Kolb cycle.